I mean, we're recording now.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, it's begun.
We should be talking?
We should be talking.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you can talk.
Goody gundrums.
Goody gundrums? I don't think...
no, I have your problem from last week.
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
say right word. I can't word right.
Why would you want to? Like, I'd like every single episode of the show, I feel like has to start with somebody, that's me, absolutely letting their face get in the way of whatever words that they're trying to say.
I'm really good at that.
Yeah, I know.
I know you've been married to me for a long time. You
mumbled through our wedding vows, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think you
that
legitimately.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
Oh no, blah. Remember, blah blah blah. Is the
that's
wedding?
right.
Because I had your brother. I wrote out what we were both gonna say.
But you didn't put like pauses.
Yeah,
into
I
it
didn't
at all.
take into consideration how much that actually is to remember and repeat back at one time. So it was too big of chunks.
Yeah, you wrote out like
you said ham sandwich.
I said ham sandwich because I couldn't think of.
Because it was like it was an Irish, tradition, some kind of Irish wedding.
Yeah.
Little vignette, about partnership and love and blah blah blah. And exactly, then it turned into blah blah blah.
Yeah, literally turned into blah. I mean, it was basically.
Which is very appropriate for us.
If War and Peace was about two people getting married, Russian novel, tons of words, thousands of characters. That's basically what our wedding vows were. Originally, I think it was a lot.
Characters in the sense
it was
of
a lot.
A space, a period.
No,
let it that kind of characters.
No. Like War and Peace had a lot of individual over 1,000.
War and Peace.
Well, then smart. You've never been put to sleep by a book before.
That happens quite often. I took economics.
That's funny. All right. She's quick, everybody. She's
sometimes.
Quick. So, yeah.
And I'm good also sticking to the chair.
I feel like I had a hand in that.
Heyo.
And that's our pre-ramble joke. Welcome to the Save vs. Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever-maddening society. With your host, Will, and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to Save vs. Poison, the podcast dedicated to all the stuff that I talked about in that intro thing earlier. My name is Will. I'm your host. As well as being your host, I'm also an addict in recovery these last 3.5 years. I have a ridiculously great show coming at you this evening. Your ear holes are going to thank me. They're going to be like, oh my God, this is like ice cream for my ears. It's delicious, and I can't stop putting more of it into me. Not joining me tonight, however, are Steve and Ticky. They finally moved out from underneath my basement and currently have decided that they are going to seek and secure housing at a local gentleman's club. They tell me that it smells like brass polish and desperation, and that's one of the selling points.
And baby formula.
And probably baby formula too, yeah. You ever taken a shot of baby formula off a stripper's shoulder?
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
Wait, when did you do this? And why was that? Why am I never involved with the fun stories? Joining me tonight, my co-host in life, not just here on the show tonight, but in life, my exquisite, beautiful, wonderful wife, Kate.
Hi, everybody.
She's already exerted editorial control.
This is take 3. And
interrupted me during my intro 2.5 times. I'm giving her a halfie.
I kept quiet.
I'm giving you a halfie.
I'm giving you a halfie.
You're kind of giving me a halfie right now. If you guys could see that, the top is fantastic that she's wearing right now. It's very booby. Unfortunately for everybody in the podcast community, you're just going to have to imagine two beautiful fleshy gloobs staring at the camera. For those of you watching on YouTube, sorry, the microphone apparatus is unfortunately in the way. Maybe if you're nice, though, I'll send out a couple of bikini photos this summer. Patreon, baby.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans?
Yeah, that's how we're going to make money on the side, right?
Am I doing it or are you doing it?
TBD.
Okay, good. I want TBD. I want that. Whatever TBD is, I want that. I want that inside me.
Delicious.
So, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, how's it going? How are you?
Good. We had a wonderful date night.
We did.
We're in a good mood. We had good times.
Yeah, you're full of noodle.
I'm full of noodles.
You're full of noodles.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, yeah. We did have delicious ice cream. I went off diet tonight. I don't do that very often. It's like once or twice a year that I do that.
I know.
Which is kind of weird.
And it was just on a random Saturday night.
Just a random Saturday night?
Not
Well,
even for a birthday.
you just look so pretty. I wanted something creamy in me.
Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Maybe. Wait, I look so pretty? Or you look so pretty you wanted something creamy in you?
Yeah, that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the door's closed and the camera's rolling. No.
Maybe you want to get kicked off of
Yeah, you
Twitch.
want to get kicked off of YouTube and Twitch tonight? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm tired of the rat race. I'm tired of trying to edit things when I don't even have editorial control of my own friggin' content anymore. It's gone forever. Sad.
I was thinking of like a joke when you said something about, be like ice cream for your ears.
Yeah.
But then I was going to say something about, but for your digestive system, if you're lactose intolerant, it would not be good.
Yeah.
But I couldn't quite formulate the right,
No, I get it.
say that.
I get it. I mean, I'm sure that
trying.
there's some...
I'm not braining well.
Well, no, it's okay. I'm sure that there's some kind of thing that I say on the podcast and on the internet that makes people fart the way that lactose intolerance does. When
I listen to your podcast in the morning.
That's all you do, just in the morning. Just put in your earbuds.
Getting ready for work, taking Augie for a walk, and just...
You're not supposed to use names. Don't dead name our dog.
The dog.
Yeah, the dog. Just call him the dog.
The dog, when I'm taking the dog.
Not dead name. Dox. Don't dox our dog.
Dox.
Yeah, dox. Dox is an internet term for releasing private information about somebody that did not consent to have their private information consented. Much like when we talked about your grandmother, who I would slather in mayonnaise in my head in an effort to not have an orgasm too quickly.
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
That is one of the things that you could say. My grandmother was not Margaret Thatcher, though.
Neither was mine. Yeah. That's all I'm...
And nobody here is related to Maggie Thatcher. Nobody. Yeah.
Crazy.
So weird.
Although we do have the same grandma. Wait, what? No.
You going to spring this on me now?
Surprise!
This is what is universally considered a dick move.
Dictum.
You listened to the show last week.
I taught you that
or
word,
2 weeks
bitch.
ago. You taught me dictum?
Yes.
A dickish victim? I don't remember that.
I do.
I thought I came up with that entirely on my own.
Oh, you're so cute.
I know, I'm adorable.
Bless your heart.
Oh, don't. That's what you say to
Bless your
somebody
little
that
heart.
didn't.
You're just as cute as you can be, because you
God.
can't get any cuter than that, because there's only so...
Yeah, because there's a hard ceiling on how cute I can be. Ow!
No, that's...
You have to see me, from now in perpetuity, until I die, you have to see me.
No, I'm just excited to learn that in the last month that's what cute as can be really means.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was an insult.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like...
Oh, you were just as cute as can be.
Because there's no way for you to get any cuter.
Because you are ugly as...
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Bless his little heart. That's what you say to people like Ticky.
So condescending.
It's so condescending. It's like, just bless your little heart. Oh, you're just trying so hard, aren't you? And you're failing, but you're just trying so hard.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, I literally think that's what that is.
Yeah, 100%.
Good game. Go team.
Yeah.
How's your week?
What was my...
I always ask my co-hosts how their week was. It's like staple for the genre.
I know, and I listen to every episode, so I know that.
You do. Do you want to just use one of Ticky or Steve's answers for...
Well, I got out on the bike.
There it is. Yeah.
This week.
I'm okay.
Okay. I got out on the bike this week. It was really good.
Julian threw up.
No names.
He says Julian. So if Steve says Julian, I can say Julian.
I tried really hard to stop coughing, like my doctor said, but it just
it just didn't happen.
I just tried.
So you've listened to every episode, right?
I have listened to every episode.
Every single episode. You were actually in the room for the recording of the interview with Doug.
Yeah, I was.
In St.
And
Louis,
it was really hard I came back from my day.
I love that you said I was
adventuring.
really hard. Like you led off with
No, I said
you
it
two
was
were in
really
the
hard.
hotel room and I was really
It was
hard.
really hard, guys. I don't even know.
You came in the room and suddenly Doug was too. So the feeling
But
was
not
mutual.
you. It was weird.
No, I was soft as taffy on a warm day. I would have been
rope?
pushing a rope. Yeah, I would have like marshmallow on a coin slot. All right.
Yeah.
Room temperature wiener.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another metaphor, but I'm
No?
feeling. Yeah.
No? Okay.
No, it was really hard to keep quiet though
Yeah.
during the interview.
Oh,
And then
so-
of course, like when he was telling all that stuff about his daughter, I was like sitting in the corner crying, and it was really hard not to be like,
yeah.
that-
That
that broke my heart a little bit.
that was hard stuff to listen to. That was really hard stuff to
I'm
listen
sure
to.
it's harder to live it.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Yes. I assume that living is much harder than just listening to.
I'm not gonna put words into Doug's mouth. I don't know. And maybe I.
What? Anyway.
Woman.
Man. I'm a man.
Is that what I feel? Wait, you're a man or I'm a man?
No, you're like,
Can I be a man this time? I really want to be a man this time. I'm tired of not being. I want to be a man this time. All right. Okay. All right. Good stock and good stock co-host answers. I think
yeah.
that's good stuff.
But in reality, it was a weird and busy week.
Augie's snoring.
I know.
It's cute. Yeah. So it was a busy week, you say?
Yes. Yes. Stressful with end of the year school stuff with the kids and all that good stuff. You're living it too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
You know how busy it's been.
Yep, I do. It's weird. Having a conversation with my wife on camera and being like, "Yes, that is what happened this week."
Yeah, like I don't have much to add
I have.
because I had a similar week.
Yeah, I had the week that you had mostly, somewhat.
Mostly. Was your week different?
I mean, I worked out and you just
out.
worked.
I know.
So it's a little bit
I need
different.
to add the out part of that.
I'm not judging.
I
I'm
know
not
you're
saying
not
no.
judging.
You're
I'm saying
very
I
sexy,
need to work out.
but you're very sexy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're very sexy.
I would so have sex with you.
Please do.
I would bang you.
Please do.
Okay. If this was a smash or pass kind of moment, I'd be smashing.
Sweet. Good
Okay.
swipe.
I mean, I think I'm.
Which direction?
I think right. You swipe right if you like
God, we're
somebody.
aging ourselves.
Yeah. Well, we dated in the age before.
I was actually we dated in the 80s. I'm like, no.
We
are-
dated in the 80s. I was barely out of diapers when she was like, "Ooh, I like the way that front load looks."
Oh, and look at there's nothing in the back load. Yes.
Nothing in the back load. I did not penguin tail. I don't think. Not the same way that our children did.
Penguins.
Are you sure? I don't know. I think mine would have wrapped around to the front. I think I needed it.
Little cushion.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a weird rabbit hole.
It's not a good rabbit hole, but
No.
like most rabbit holes, it's what we've got. Speaking of things that we've got, my name is Will, and I am an alcoholic.
My name is Kate. I am not an alcoholic, but I would sell my used panties for a donut.
And it's nice to know that you are addicted to something, that you're not just perfect.
Oh, I'm perfect. And
Wife?
no, I'm not. I love donuts.
She does.
I have a sugar.
More than Steve. And I think that if they were to fight, I think you would win. I think you would win on the donut
I don't know
fight.
what kind of fight? A donut fight?
Probably, yeah. What, you think Steve's going to do, like, fisticuffs? No.
But what would the donut fight be?
I don't know.
Throwing at each other? Like combat juggling?
Well, I think that I think that he would challenge you, and because you're the person that got challenged, you get to choose what the competition would be. And I think that you would literally do donut penis ring toss, and Steve would be like, "I'm not doing that," and you'd be like, "Well, then I win by forfeit." Ha ha ha! And there you go.
Then yes, I would win that way.
Yeah, that would be how you win, I think.
Yes.
Which I think is a great way to win.
Yeah. Forfeit.
That's some
counts.
solid winning there, everybody. So yeah, this week in my sobriety, I did a lot of things. I did a lot of things that were sobriety related, like directly sobriety related, and that made a lot of things a lot easier. However, it's funny. I read a bill. a Dr. Bill quote. Dr. Bill is one of the founders of AA.
Oh, okay.
So
Who's Dr.
the
Bill?
big book of AA was written by him. So I read a quote by him that had to do. I don't remember it directly, but it had to do with the idea of people that drink do it often to mollify their anxieties. And I thought about all the times that I had anxiety and currently have anxiety. And one of the things that in sobriety you have to do is basically just feel whatever your feelings are. You don't get to kick it down the can with alcohol. You don't get to mollify it. You don't get to cut the sharp pointy edges off of anything. You have to feel it, and then you have to discover and work through different tools of being able to deal with your emotions.
Let me feel my feelings.
And I, for a minute there, was a little bit resentful, a little frustrated, and I wanted to drink.
When?
Earlier today. And it was, don't you furrow your brow and do that.
No,
I saved it for this. I say,
okay.
we'll talk about it here. I didn't drink.
Well, I know.
I didn't do it.
I was just around you all day. That's why I was confused.
Yeah. No, this was on the drive to and from the gym.
Oh.
Earlier today. So you weren't with me for about 2.5 hours today.
Gotcha. Wait, you weren't here?
Yeah, I wasn't here for a little while.
So
I went and worked out.
You were resentful.
Yeah, I was.
Sorry,
I was resentful. There are people that literally can, at the end of a day that they had that was hard, they get to indulge in booze, and I don't get to do that anymore. And it made me frustrated and a little bit resentful, and there was some anger tinged in there, and it wasn't monumental. It wasn't huge, but if I'm going to be fair, open, and honest with how I feel and where I'm at and how these feelings tend to creep up on you in weird places and weird ways. Because, reading something from the big book or a quote by the creator of the big book isn't where I would normally say cravings should come from. But in that moment, it reinforced how I don't get to, I don't get to engage in feelings I don't get to avoid engaging in my feelings by indulging in a substance. And other people do get to do that. And even if that's not the healthiest thing, there are people that can moderate, that can do that. And then if they don't want to deal with it on a Friday and they're like, you know what, I'm just going to go have a couple drinks, chill out. And then they do get to it by Sunday. That's not something that I even get an opportunity to do. I'm locked out of that for basically the rest of my life. So, yeah, that's my sobriety check-in. That's what I got. Do you have anything you'd like to share about your mental health status?
Well, I'm sober.
Yes, you are. You have been right there next to me in sobriety since, except for 2 or 3 alcoholic beverages that you've had, I think, in the 3.5 years since I went sober.
Yeah, which that's weird in itself, since I'm in a different position of, going through all this with you has helped me realize that I'm at a point in my life where I just don't like to drink.
Sure.
I've never been a huge drinker. I did the normal.
What is that? I don't even know what that is. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I did kind of the I shouldn't say normal, stereotypical, went wild in college and, definitely partied and it's funny, just a couple of weeks ago with one of my coworkers who had a little bit of was talking about their weekend and, partied a little too hard and was a little rough Monday morning. And I was, did the whole I'm never going to do that again. And so I told him the story of the last time I had too much.
Cinco's wedding.
Yeah. And well, I didn't want to get into that specifics, but yeah.
I remember it because I had to drive home.
Yeah. And that's weird that I was the drunker one out of the
two
of
us. I drank that night, but I did not I didn't go crazy.
I did, and
it
stuck up on me.
Yeah. Red wine is so sneaky because it's so not potent.
I usually don't like wine.
That's true, but you were Can you get me a red wine? I really like red wine, and let's dance. I want to dance.
But I always want to dance. So
That's
like
true.
that
That's
that
true.
has nothing to do with anything.
That's true.
But it was, and I remember saying that night or the next day when I was super hungover, it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to do this again. And it wasn't until I was recounting that story like a few weeks ago that I realized like that's true. Like that really was the last time that I did that. And that was, 10 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah. About that. Wait,
Well,
10 years ago?
No, less than
no,
that.
not 10 years ago.
No, I was in grad school. So
It's like 5 years ago, maybe.
5 or 6 years ago. But the point is,
It's just going to get longer and longer in your memory. It's like 25 years ago was the last time that I drank. Basically, the last 25 years of my life have been nothing but smooth sailing. I'm telling you, everybody. Oh, yeah, you are.
Because we're so young, that means I start. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, but, when you first got sober,
It was a Monday.
Yes, I very much got, I did the whole, like, well, we have a dry house because, my husband's in recovery and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And I always put it off as that was the reason why. But then the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, I don't enjoy the way I feel while I'm on it. And as I get older, and I remember when I was 30, we had a coworker who was 35 who told us, oh yeah, just wait till you get to your mid-30s. You're going to have a beer. You won't even get tipsy. And you're totally going to have like the bubble guts and all the uncomfortableness. You're going to feel hungover and never get tipsy. And I was like, whatever. And sure enough, that happened. And then I was like,
did you sock him in the jaw, though? That's what I would have done. I would have been like, motherfucker, what? Socked him in the jaw.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how I roll.
That's how you are. I mean,
look
this
at this
beard is to cover up the bruising.
Yeah.
From all the beatings that she gives me.
Such a violent person.
Such a violent person.
Yeah, and then I discovered that's true, and then I just
the beatings?
The beatings, no.
Or the bubble guts.
The bubble guts and all that. And then and so it took me a while. It probably took me like a good 6 months to a year into your sobriety for me to finally be like, wait a minute, I just don't like to drink. Like, it has nothing to do with you. I have some control issues, and, I'm a flirty drunk, and I don't want to say anything dumb or do anything dumb. And I just don't like the way it feels anymore, and it's not worth it to me. So now I'm a prude.
So much like Dave Coulier, you cut it out. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a Canadian joke for you guys. Hope you like Sir Dave Coulier.
Full House, Uncle Jesse.
Yeah. He's a clean comic. Interesting guy.
Didn't he date Alanis Morissette?
Okay. All right. Well, good share.
Yeah.
Good share.
That's my life in sobriety.
Yeah, your life in sobriety.
Hey, I'm sober.
Yes, you're sober. But the consequences of you not being sober, though,
aren't really that bad.
Are less dire than everybody else, I think, on Earth.
I felt weird a couple weeks ago when, we were cleaning out the garage. We found that beer.
And you took a sip of my old beer.
It was weird taking a sip of beer in front of you. And it was also, but then as soon as I took, and it hit my lips, I didn't have the Will Ferrell old school reaction of like, oh, it's just so good when it hits your lips. Sure. I had the like, ugh.
I like that you went to a movie from like 1998.
No.
99-ish? I bet.
No.
I bet.
No.
Oh, I bet. Do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see us do a bet right here?
No, we're not going to.
On the online.
No,
I bet that she
like,
goes down on me if I win. That's the bet right there. Go ahead, old school. Pull it up. Pull it up for the fans.
No, it's
pull it
like,
up for the
it's
fans.
like 2001. I bet.
It might be 2001 instead of 1990.
I feel like we're getting a little too in the weeds.
No, not me.
What the date is?
No. 2003. Ouch, I was
wrong.
Off by 5 years. That's right. You were. I was more wrong, but you were wrong, and that's now on camera.
The closest without going over. Price is Right.
This is not Price is Right. I am no longer Drew Carey. All right, you can't.
That's true.
Can't pull that on me. All right, not at all. Not anymore. No. So okay. So all right. Cheers. Right on. So you were with me in my descent into alcoholism.
Madness. Oh, alcoholism.
I mean, if you want to make a joke about insanity right now, I mean, doing the same thing over and over again, I expected to get drunk, though. Like, I just didn't expect to, turn into a piece of shit.
Yeah. It's funny, though. Like, probably the hardest year, though, was not... It was your last time working for an employer before you started working for yourself. Which was... God, what, 6 years before you actually got sober?
I went out on my own in 14.
Yeah, you got sober.
Yeah.
So 5 years. Yeah.
So, and I got sober in 19. Yeah, at the end of 19.
That was that was probably the worst year of our marriage.
Yeah, I was pretty unhappy.
Yeah. So it was a combination of like, but I don't know how bad the drinking was then, but I know how unhappy you were and how you're a good employee, but you're bad at being an employee. If that makes sense. Like, you do what you're supposed to as an employee. It's not like you like call in sick or, not do all the stuff you're supposed to. You just don't like that structure, like having a boss.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just what I mean by that.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about what I was like as an employee when we first started dating, yeah, I was a terrible employee, and I did not like being employed. If we're talking about, when I was an orderly, when I was a surgical technologist, I hated it.
Yeah,
from point A to point B. But as a high school dropout, there's so little else that you have going for you in terms of like what you can possibly pursue as a career. And because of the vocational manner in which the operating room can function in certain light, that was basically my only path. So once I became an SA, even at Kaiser, my work ethic definitely improved. I was a better surgicalist. I was better being a more challenged individual in terms of the responsibilities that I had than I ever was doing the stuff at the lower level that I was doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree with that. But no, my drinking was definitely not the worst that it would be.
But I would
at
almost
that point in
argue
time.
that your mental health was the worst.
Probably. I felt trapped. I felt completely trapped.
You could tell. And then friend of the show, Russ, was living with us. So Russ, I'm sorry you got to see us at our worst.
Yeah, he did.
But and then I think after that, I got. And then towards the end of your drinking days, I like you've been very open about it. You gaslit me like crazy.
Yeah, no, my next question was going to be, what did it feel like to be gaslit there, shorty? If you're not seeing this on YouTube, she looks like she's about 2.5 inches shorter than me, which is funny because she's an inch taller than I am in real life. Like, she's 5'11", I'm 5'10". Yeah, kind of funny.
But I'm sitting on a smaller chair.
That's on purpose. It's a power play.
It's your show. I got to sit lower.
No. You're not sitting on a lower chair.
Or
that's gaslighting. That right there is gas. So how's it feel to be gaslit by I don't know if I should take pride in being a master gaslighter.
No, I think it's like, it was interesting.
I thought you were honestly. No, I think it's a great thing. I think you should go with it.
Awesome.
If you could do that for a career, that'd be fantastic.
Just be a professional gaslighter. So I listened to a book a couple months ago, and were talking about how we as humans aren't actually really good at picking up on signs, and it gave all these horrible examples of basically pedophiles, and how all these people saw they were people that they thought were nice, and they saw questionable behavior, but like nobody wanted to believe. And it wasn't until there was a ton of doubt that people are finally like, oh my gosh, like, okay, this isn't okay. But even then people didn't want to. But the point is, like, as humans, it takes us a lot of doubts to build up before we're finally, like, what? This is not okay. And so I think I had certain.
Before we move on, are you comparing me being an alcoholic to being a pedophile?
No, 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 no.
I feel like this is the internet.
Other examples. These are other examples.
It's we're drawing an analogy.
That's true. No, he is in no way. Absolutely. No, I'm not saying that about you at all.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That I can't help it. That's what the author.
I know.
Examples,
I just
but the overall concept.
No. All right. So the internet is always like a Robert Frost poem. Okay, it's always ways leading onto ways and not being able to go back to what you were. All right.
Okay, that's true.
That's what that's about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Still shorter than me. On camera.
You guys don't know this, but in real life, I'm real tangential, which makes a lot of sense.
100%.
So
the gaslighting, the being in denial about me.
So that's really what it was. Is I was kind of in denial and blind to the doubts and the obvious signs that were there. Like if you had told me, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, my partner is doing XYZ behavior and all the stuff that you were doing," I would be like, dude.
Yeah. It's easy to see that from the outside, right?
Yeah. But on the inside, I think I had this level of expectation of, well, he would never do that. You would never, you know what I mean? You would never drink that much. You would never do that. And, and it was always, he was sneaky. I'm a early bird. He's a night owl. So, and, back in the day, this computer was in our bedroom. And so he'd be up late gaming, which, I didn't think anything of it. But when I'd go to bed, you'd be drinking a beer. Sorry, I don't know if I should address the camera or address you.
You can do both. You can address the camera and look at me.
But as far as you see he or you, you know. But anyway,
you should say you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you'd be drinking a beer, and then you'd come to bed, and that usually woke me up because I'm not always the heaviest of sleepers. And when you did that, I remember so many times your breath was awful, and I knew in my heart of hearts, I was
snacking from the litter box.
Well, in my heart of hearts, I knew it was disproportionate to you just having a couple beers. I just didn't want to believe it or see it. And I remember just the other week, you told me a story about me catching you. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't remember that moment.
Oh yeah, I thought my goose was cooked.
No, I don't remember that moment at all because I think I had this mental barrier of oh, you would never do that. You wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I have a feeling that you probably tied your ego to the idea that you would never be married to an alcoholic.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Which is funny looking back on it because if I really think about it, my first boyfriend was. So apparently I have more propensity. And then that was a little bit more obvious, but even then I still didn't want to call it that. And, I was young and dumb too. So I really didn't know any better.
Young and dumb and full of hope.
Yes. No, but I did have a lot of ego in it, because I've taken care of so many alcoholics and I've been so judgy against it that, it's always been my least favorite. Addicts have always been my least favorite
patient population
to take care of. And so the thought that I was married to one and I didn't even know it, I had a lot of ego, and that was really hard.
Yeah.
At first for me to accept and let go of that idea.
Now, it didn't help that you have so much education.
So mad at myself.
And so much of that education is about not only treating patients, but also public health, which alcoholism is clearly a big, gigantic part of public health.
Oh, yeah.
And then, your undergraduate is in psychology.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we used to...
Yeah, exactly. So
I used to have a joke about how, you had 2 degrees and you were working on 2 more, and I had no degrees and I was working on diabetes.
Yeah. That's not true anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, with this 12-step program, you too.
Now I'm closer to working on diabetes than you are.
Well, that's just because your
donut love.
foot's about to fall off because you won't stop shoving your face with eclairs.
Delicious. I love sugar.
You do love sugar, but it never looks like you ever gain a pound, which is good for me.
I know this is like me at almost my heaviest, and I'm not okay with it. But anyway, that's a different topic.
Yeah, but still sexy.
Well, thank you.
Turn out the lights.
Yeah, but
and light a candle.
I had a lot of ego. I didn't realize until I went through all that how much ego I had wrapped up in it, and I think that very much blinded me to the truth of what was going on. Mm-hmm. And the gaslighting, I don't feel like I fully got to a point. I don't ever remember having that moment of like, wait a minute, am I crazy? But I definitely was thinking like, I think you're lying to me. You know what I mean? I feel like gaslighting is more like am I crazy? Am I taking crazy pills? Is this not really happening? But with you, I think it was more like, I think you're lying to me. This seems disproportionate. Like, so.
You're talking about the fighting being disproportionate.
Well, yeah, like the way.
Or my emotional dysregulation.
Yeah, and like the way like your breath would smell, or the way you were acting. Because the biggest thing that was getting really, really hard and frustrating, and what actually made me start to question things more and more is, because I didn't realize how much alcohol you had on board, you would say things that you thought were funny.
Oh, yeah. But I did that for years.
Well, I know, but like before you got sober, it was getting worse and worse, and to a point where I couldn't tell if you were joking or not, and I don't know if you could either. Mm-hmm. And that was really like frustrating to me. And then, and that actually probably that's when I felt the most gaslit, is when you would say, and then I started to have those questions like, is this really the person that I married? Mm-hmm. Because by this point, we've been together for 15 years almost.
Yeah,
right
in total.
Yeah, exactly. 2019 would be 15 years we were together. Yeah. So, so we had a long history and long foundation. And so I was starting to have that, like, is this really the person that I married? Is this who you are? You're such a dick to me. Well, like, when did this happen? Like,
I just laughed when she said, "You're such a dick to me." Like, I don't know why I laughed, but I did.
Yeah, and that when you came clean, that was one of the most satisfying things. Just look at you and be like, "Oh, so you really are being a dick." Like, it's not me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not crazy. Okay, so I guess that is the gaslight. I guess you did make me feel crazy. Or I guess I let myself feel crazy.
Do I take a W for that? Like, I don't think that's right. No, I don't take a W for that. I take an L. That's an L. Actually, it's a big L for your old boy William.
I remember two specific things that really, like, where you were a huge dick to me.
Okay.
One of them is I remember your last year at Kaiser when, I don't know if your drinking was as bad, but your mental health was definitely not good. We went out to dinner one night and you just looked at me and you said, "When did we stop being friends?" And I was like, wow, I didn't know we were at that spot. And you probably don't even remember that. But, and then there's a couple other ones. Oh, and then I remember one day I came home from work and like, I messed up on some technical thing, and you just, since we both work in the same field and you knew the specific ins and out, I remember you just went like, "Well, yeah, don't you know that's like the one thing you're supposed to be responsible for?" And just like kind of berated me for it, which is out of character normally for you. And that's when I was starting to have the like, what the heck? Who is this man? This isn't the man I married. Like, mm-hmm. You're normally not this kind of dick to me. Like, why? What's going on? So then when you came clean and you got sober, or the next day.
Yeah.
So I remember that night you told me, I had so many emotions because I was like empathetic. I was also angry.
Well, you came by it honest.
And I've never thrown, even though we were joking about it earlier, I have never thrown a punch in my life, and I wanted to punch you so bad that night.
Yeah.
And of course I didn't, because that's not okay.
Yeah.
But I've never had such an urge to actually do that.
Yeah.
But the next day, the biggest thing I felt, actually the next couple days, once we started getting through the like initial shock or whatever, and transition to like, okay, where do we go from here? Because that's kind of the type of person I am. Is like, yeah, it's important for me, it's important to know the history, but I'm more of like, okay, so that's past, it's done. Where do we go from here? So the biggest thing I felt was relief, when you told me that. And that was so surprising and unexpected, because it was like, I've had moments like that in the past where somebody tells you one thing about him and you just go, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Somebody told me that. I was like, oh, okay, this makes so much sense. So I'm like, great, just stop drinking. And then, you're not addicted to me anymore. And then our marriage is great. And that's exactly what it's been for the last 3.5 years, which is amazing. And we haven't, like, this is the best we've ever been.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's true. Like, so I'm really glad that that's panned out, because that would suck if you get sober and it's still like, oh wait, you're not the man I married.
Well, I mean, that's the other side of that's the other side of the my statement earlier about wishing that I could take the
turn back time.
No, I don't want to turn back time. This is not a Cher song. Everything that I'm doing
Her birthday was
now
yesterday.
is so much better than what I was doing. But I appreciate that you wanted to slip in a 80s music lyric. Music lyric?
Music.
Yeah, my face got in the way of words. Again, it happens.
It's
No, it's the other side of the statement that I had earlier when I did my check-in, where I was like, I'm frustrated because I don't get to, shave off the sharper edges of all of my emotions with a little bit of booze for a little while. Like, this is the other side of it, is now I'm having to figure out how to feel frustrated or anxious or angry or irritated without taking it out on anybody else, because those parts of my brain that used to have the inhibition dropping effect of alcohol on board, they're having to learn new ways of dealing with this stuff instead of just hitting that bottle, girl. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've come so far.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
I've been really proud of you, baby. You've done so much, and you are.
Say bless your little heart.
Bless your little heart. Bless your heart. You've done so much. You're just as cute as can be.
Just as cute as can be.
So yeah, that was really.
So we had a statement on our Twitter account just a little while ago. You heard about it 2 weeks ago on the show. That was basically, we have to treat our women to have more respect for themselves when they're in these situations with these shitty guys. That's basically what it all boiled down to. So why did you stay?
I'm also in a profession that stereotypically chooses fixer-uppers.
Oh yeah. And I gigantic fixer-upper here.
Yeah, it's paid off. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad I put in the investment.
I like
much
it
like our retirement funds. I hope the investment is paying off after 20 years.
I doubt it. After you knew, why did you stick around?
Because it all made sense. Like I said, you unlocked that one key piece of information that it's like, oh, okay. Not that it excused your behavior, but for me, it made sense. So I think the bigger question is, why did I stay during?
I mean, I think that you talked about being in denial and not seeing the signs that were in front of you. I mean, that I get.
But like, I hadn't thought the words divorce, but I definitely wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't, like my parents are divorced, and I was the older I get, the more I am very appreciative of how my parents handled it, seeing what my friends go through now and all this stuff. So I was very fortunate in the fact that, my parents had joint custody and I saw my parents equally. So I had the benefit of seeing my mom as a single mom raise two girls, while also at the same time having the benefit of my dad in my life, So I know that divorce is always an option.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't necessarily that like kind of older school, more traditional of like, well, you're married, you just got to stick it out. So I wasn't coming from that kind of place. I was like, no, I know you can be happy and move on. But, like I said, I think denial was a key part of it. And then also too, getting into the logistics of, our life has been built on two incomes.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought of like, oh my gosh, that means like neither one of us could afford the house on our own. Or maybe by that point, I might have been able to afford the house on my own, but you couldn't.
At the time, I was making the same as you.
Okay, that's true.
We were within about $3,000 a year of each other.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's true. So it'd be super tight, but one of us
Yeah.
one of us probably could afford this house on their own.
No, I didn't stop making money until
COVID.
COVID hit, and then even then,
But that was a great choice. Anyway, that's
that
a whole
was
different.
great
Like that was
talk about
COVID's awful, but
COVID was awful, except for us.
We got to restructure our lives in a really good way.
We did.
But anyway, that's
So it was literally just the understanding that I was an alcoholic that left you in a place where you thought I can stick around long enough to see what recovery is going to look like for me. Because there are still no guarantees. There's literally still no guarantees. I might drink tomorrow. That's always a possibility. I don't think I'm going to. I have a lot of tools in place that will aid me in not doing that, but there's always the possibility. There's no point in time in my life where I'm not going to be an addict. But
at the same time, there's no point in time that like I might get diabetes or
sure.
Or heck, I have a family history of dementia,
Sure.
Like I might get that, you know what I mean? So
if you get dementia, can I go back to drinking?
So
it'll make gaslighting you so much easier.
No, hopefully I'm just pleasantly confused that, I just will forget all the time and it's no big deal.
That'll be it.
Who are you? What's going on?
No, I'm just here to clean the pool. We have a pool.
What? Who are you?
Who are you, strange man?
Yeah. So for me, the possibility of you relapse isn't much more of a day-to-day risk thought process for me as the thought of like one of us dropping dead unexpectedly from a heart attack or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I know it could happen. I don't want to dwell on that because then I'll just drive myself insane, especially because I know too much. So, and just like everything else, if you do, we'll figure out, we'll go through it. And I know it's much easier said than done, but when you told me that, I was like, oh, great. All you have to do is stop drinking. Super duper easy solution.
In concept,
it's super easy. In reality,
it's a lot of work. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, but like I said, you've developed a lot of good skills. So I'll still probably be. I'll probably still be angry as fuck if you do. But I would like to think I'd be empathetic and more problem solving than blaming,
We talk a lot about like recognizing and understand. Like as an addict, I recognize and understand when other addicts might relapse, that's a part of being in recovery. I don't know about how people outside of like recovery spaces that aren't like you're intimately aware of it by proxy, but you're not struggling with it personally. So I think that the places that addicts that see other addicts relapsing go, it comes from this idea of like, there but for the grace of God go I. So I have to have a certain amount of grace and almost benevolence for other addicts that are going through relapse. Like, there has to be a way back. There always has to be a way back. And being angry about it or being like accusatory or judgmental about it, I understand why somebody outside of addiction would be those things, but inside of addiction, because of the nature of all of the community that we need to be able to survive as addicts, and I need my community to be able to survive as an addict, I think. It feels like a totally different, like there's different standards for people that see addicts from afar. And it's kind of something that I would like people that aren't addicts to be able to understand, is to be able to look at addicts that are relapsing and have, the same level of grace that an addict would have for an addict in relapse.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that if I did relapse, I'm not saying that you wouldn't be justified in your anger. The reason that we frame it the way that we do, though,
angry at this situation,
mm-hmm.
and not as much like, you piece of shit,
Mm-hmm.
more like, okay, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
What do we do? But as far as like the not understanding and feeling it, the closest thing I can equate it to being on the outside, looking in, is, like I was, I had some depression in my early 20s. And so I remember my, some of the thoughts I had and the shame spirals I would get in, and, just how down I was. But I only remember it intellectually now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what it feels like. So I can, but in the back of my mind, there's that thought of, I could end up on that path again, because I've been there once, and I know, it's been 20, it's before we met, so it's been over 20 years
Mm-hmm.
since I had an issue, but I know that like, that's always a possibility, but I have better coping skills, to deal with that. So that's my closest thing to understanding and relating to an addict's mind, which I know is not the same. And
no, but you can draw at least a few parallels, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's...
No, I got you. Okay.
But you've definitely changed my views on taking care of patients. I'm less judgy and more, okay, that sucks. What,
Well, I think
how do we do? And,
I think it's okay to judge an addict's bad action. Like, we still have to take responsibility for the things that we did that were wrong, regardless of like the nature of our addiction.
Yeah.
Like, if I do something in service to my addiction, I'm still doing something bad, and that there is judgment that can be rightfully levied at that. But the nature of the fact that I'm an addict, that's where judgmentalism doesn't do anything helpful. Like,
no, but I feel more empathy now than I used to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
No, that's fine. Feeling like it's sort of the hate the sinner, or love the sinner, hate the sin kind of mentality.
Doing a lot of like religious things.
I don't know. There's a couple of things that I think are that are reasonably analogous.
That's fair.
Not all of them, but I think a few. I think there's a few.
That's fair.
I'm going to become a Bible belter. That's what I'm going to do in my life.
Now that would be...
Girl, we going to have a traditional marriage, but I'm going to be the woman.
What?
Tradition.
Now that would be shocking if you.
I'm going to wear a gingham dress. You're going to come home one day, and I'm going to be looking like
that?
Pippi Longstocking.
Right over.
You know what a gingham dress is?
No.
Can somebody please message my wife with what a gingham dress is because we don't have time. We don't have time here tonight.
It's like the garment.
Okay. Yeah. It's not the garment. No, it's just a dress. It's like a picnic table cover dress. It's like red and white.
Like Dorothy?
Wizard
of Oz?
That's the pattern.
Oh, okay. But red.
But like red with like white striping. And
okay.
Cross, like,
you could have just said Dorothy, and I
think.
didn't know what you're talking about.
I think that's what it looks like. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong.
You said gingham, and my brain went to Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style.
Yeah. Totally different thing.
Yeah.
If Ticky were here, he'd be saying something about Steve's culture.
Probably. He'd probably be talking about how incredibly Korean Steve is. Do you feel hopeful for us for the future?
No.
Okay, so divorce proceedings are in the offing, apparently. No. 3.5 years, I've really worked on myself and tried to make myself the best version of myself, and yet it wasn't enough. Ladies and gentlemen, don't try. Don't try. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. No, but seriously, are you hopeful for us in the future?
Of course I'm hopeful for us.
Okay, well...
these have been the best years of our marriage.
You never said anything about it.
You're
hopeful?
No, things are good, so I can't imagine them not being good.
Okay.
All
right.
Of course I'm hopeful. You know me. I'm a naturally optimistic person too.
You are a naturally optimistic person. That's
Everything
why you married me in the first place. You're like, well, it's got to get better. It's going to get better, you guys. That's it. And then it got real bad for a while. And now it's better. Yeah.
Everything in my life has taught me that there might be bumps in the road, but whatever happens is going to be better than what I expected.
You said hapsins. You misspoke.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And I mumble.
And you mumble.
And I'm tangential.
And you're tangential.
Excuse me, and I burp.
And you burp.
I apologize.
God, you're sexy.
Don't you spend.
You were hitting every single one of my kinks right now.
Oh, remember when we before we started dating?
Tell me how much you want me, but mumble it. Before we started dating?
So this sexy man beast over here. We met at work.
She says man beast because I have a hairy back.
Yes, you have a mullet of torso body hair.
It's true.
Chest hair to here. Back hair all in the back. Anyway. No, we met at work and he invited me to his buddy's poker game.
Yeah, I am not a classy individual because I was dating a girl at the time and she was in the car.
Oh, the three of us went there together.
Yeah.
She picked us up at your place, which, as I say that aloud, sounds awful.
No, she just came over. I drove. Because it was you and me in the front and her in the back.
No, other way. I was in the back.
No, you were in the front because you had the longer legs.
Oh,
this was the Acura. That did not have a big back seat.
That's right.
She was in the back.
On the way home, I was in the back. Mm-hmm. Which, this isn't really...
Because he was drunk.
I had too much. Yes, on the Sobriety podcast. Well, I did the whole... I did the whole sit and drink and not get up much and not really realize how much I had to drink.
That'll get you.
I was like, ooh, whoa. But I remember we were playing poker and...
what?
We were sitting across the table from each other. And you just looked at me and said, Kate, I think we need to take a relationship to the next level. And then you just let out a massive...
This was before we started dating. God.
Oh, yeah. With his girlfriend.
What did you see in me? What the fuck did you see in me?
With his girlfriend being the dealer at that moment.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And then... Wait, can I tell the rest of the story?
Yeah, tell the whole thing. It's fine. This is if we are nothing if not honest, and we will not be a slave to cover-ups and lies.
Well, I guess the rest of it doesn't matter. Needless to say, there was no overlap.
Nope. No overlap.
He broke up with her, and then the next weekend we were dating.
I broke up with her on a Wednesday, and by Friday, she and I were dating.
Yeah, because I remember Tuesday, all he ever told me at work about her was she's nice, but she's crazy. And then I met her, and I was like, no, she's just crazy. Yeah. And then Tuesday, he was like, yeah, I think I need to break up with her. And then I was off Wednesday, and I saw him Thursday, and he's like, so we broke up last night. And I was like, what are you doing Friday? And then,
you moved fast. Somebody was lonely.
I was.
Timing is everything. You guys, timing is everything. I'm not even shitting you. All right, look at this. She's a doctor. She's a hottie.
with
a
a
body.
Hey.
Yeah. Timing is everything, everybody. She put up with me when I was at my literal worst.
That's true.
And then
I'm very patient.
stayed with me while I feel like you just gambled on me.
I did.
And
I won.
I'm glad that you won. And then I'm glad that there's a lot of winners in this room right now.
Yeah.
Even though you wouldn't
dog,
classically say it. But yeah, there's a lot of winners in this room. Especially the dog. Especially that sweet, sweet
Well,
bupper.
he's a rescue, so he's a winner too.
He's a very good boy. We talk about him a lot on the show.
I know.
I do, at least. Oh, that's right. You listen to the show.
I know. I listen
You're
to
one
the
of
show.
our 3 listeners.
I am. Right here.
Right here.
33%
Man, that's going to be a real
right here.
weird thing when you're listening to you.
I know. I'm kind of not excited.
Do you want to tell future Kate anything?
You're good enough. You're smart enough. And doggone it, people like you.
Just fold your laundry, all right?
Just fold
It's
your
already clean. Just fold it and put it away.
Because there's a load of laundry in the dryer right now that I need to go do.
Oh, there's a whole basket of it that I need to go do. I know. That's one of my favorite
mine
memes
away.
that I've found lately was that meme.
Oh, I know. That's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So,
It's true.
do you have anything else that you would like to share about your time being basically an alcoholic war bride? You were in the alcoholic war, which is for my soul.
I'm glad we're on the other side.
Yeah, me too.
I love you.
I love you too. Was that terms of service, everyone? Did you hear that out in Podcastlandia? We smooched
On the face holes.
on the face holes, brah.
Not the inappropriate holes. the
No, she's
face
been giving
holes.
me a handy this whole time.
Although when we did see dogs going at it. We did see
We
puppies.
did.
We saw puppies being made.
We on the way to dinner tonight. We almost saw a dog get run over. It didn't. Almost saw a
Luckily.
dog get run over, and then we
block
saw
later.
block later, 2 dogs like going at it, and I was like, "It's a circle of life, and it moves
weird.
us all."
And mind you, it's a 10-minute walk from our house to the restaurant. So
Yeah,
it
there
was
was-
a weird little
There's a lot of action.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
little children running around loose,
Madness.
dogs running around loose, dogs
Yeah.
making puppies.
Dogs trying to make, well, at least one dog trying to make puppies. The other one didn't seem
Yeah,
like it was
yeah,
all
the
that
other one
into
didn't
it.
want to have puppies.
But apparently,
Maybe it was 2 boy puppies. We don't know.
there is no such thing as canine consent culture.
No.
Who knew? So,
that note.
on that note,
That's a weird sentence to say.
that is
Canine consent culture.
I like that.
No, I like it. It's a good alliteration.
Just bite them on the back of the neck, see what they do. Over in the top left hand, to my left, to screen right, you will see. You were just giving me a hand job, and you caressed my face. That was when I came, right there.
And
That's when
she's
I had it. Yeah, there it
she's
is.
on top.
And she's on top. Figure that one out. So over there is a picture of the only other man that has as much of a space in your heart as I do. Who's that fine looking Italian man up there? Right over there on the screen.
I know. I was trying to think of. I wish I had come with another famous Italian.
You could have said Chef Boyardee, and that would have hurt real bad. But no, it's fucking Mario.
Yeah,
It's fucking Super Mario.
he's my buddy.
Let's
Been
talk
there
about
since I was
Super
a
Mario.
kid.
You would not classify yourself as a gamer.
Which is funny though, and especially because the boy's giving me a hard time. I am more of a gamer. So okay, ooh, interesting.
Sure.
Topic.
Shoot there, Tiger.
You guys haven't really talked about this ever. Do you consider people who play mobile games gamers?
I consider people that consider themselves gamers.
So
I don't have any kind of I feel like the title is so incredibly arbitrary, and people that are trying to be inclusive will say, well, anybody that plays games is a gamer. And people that are trying to gatekeep other people out of it will say, well, there's only, one type of gamer. That's somebody that plays, specific styles of games in this kind of habitual pattern, and they make it a part of their hobby, and they dip into the culture. And it's like what the fuck does it matter? I would say that much like so many other things, it is a spectrum that is highly nuanced. you play video games in a very small niche area.
Yeah.
Very small niche area, but you do it for the exact same reasons.
That guy.
Yeah. That guy. I still have problems with the left and right
I
thing
do
on
too.
here. It's so frustrating because I'm looking at me. I'm looking at me right now, and it's it's not mirrored. You expect it to be mirrored. So you play video games. You play video games for the same reason that other people play games. For recreation, to turn your brain off, to relax, to enjoy the achievement of playing it. Like, these are all things that every other person that I know that engages in any kind of gaming culture does when they engage in games. Now, do I think that I have a broader spectrum of things that I play and enjoy? Yes, I do. But does that make you less of a gamer? I don't know if less of a gamer is a thing. I feel like it's quibbling over something that's really kind of arbitrary and stupid.
Well, I just asked because it's been brought to my attention and makes me giggle. Our oldest has been saying that he's been seeing a lot of memes about moms telling their kids to stop playing video games and, oh, you play too much video games, it's a problem, while they're on their phones playing Candy Crush.
Sure.
And like, what level are you on? Oh,
Yeah.
You're on like level 2000? Oh, what? Like, you play video games too?
Yeah.
And then I kind of, like you said, speaking of niche stuff, right now my favorite game is Super Mario Maker 2. I'm not good at making the levels, but I love playing other people's levels. I love seeing that creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of getting weirdly like proud of myself at how good, and it's kind of made me go, oh, maybe I am a gamer more than I give myself credit for, and I have better skills because I play, my favorite ones are like speed runs and lift platforming ones, especially speed runs. I can get into a flow, which always feels really, you guys have talked about that too, when you get in the game, when you just get into that space and you get it. But
yeah.
I also have the sense of satisfaction because it gives you percentage, a clear percentage, and
of like the population that has cleared the level.
Yeah, and some
and
of
whether
them,
or not you're part of it or not. Yeah.
Some of them have several 100,000 plays on the level, and like last night, there was one of those that it had a 3% pass rate, and I passed it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, oh, maybe I am better at this than I thought, or maybe I like. And then with our oldest giving me a hard time with Candy Crush and how that's actually a video game, which I know is like not like, I don't know, not a traditional game in the gamer sense, but then it's kind of those things in combination have kind of got me thinking, wait a minute, am I a gamer?
Well, it's a one-player puzzle game that goes as deep into the rabbit hole of gaming as you want it to. Do you like? You can. Is there like a final level, a final boss? No, you just keep playing and grinding and grinding and grinding, and that's so many of the games that we love playing today. Like MMO gamers, that's all that they do. Massive multiplayer online games, that's all that they do.
What game are you talking about?
Candy Crush.
Oh yeah.
Is there like a final level of to Candy Crush? No, that's going to be a game that the developer for that game will just have you keep going and going and going. Like
it's so algorithmic too of
levels
and
I mean it is a pay game. I mean it's a free to play game that you
ads.
Throw ads in, and you can monetize if you want to. The ads being the passive monetization, where if you don't want to pay directly for the extra things, the extra like playthroughs or something. Is that correct? I don't know. I personally don't play Candy Crush.
No, it's things like, if you want extra moves, watch this ad.
Right. Or you can buy extra moves, right?
Yeah, or it's like, well, it does the whole like, oh, it's 5 pieces of gold, but 5 pieces of gold will cost you like $10 in real life,
So I don't know.
Or $2.99.
The end result of the gaming is basically the same. It's an effort to enjoy something that doesn't have that gives you a sense of accomplishment without having anything to do with your basic everyday life. I don't have any reason why that shouldn't be somebody that plays those types of games shouldn't be considered a gamer if they want to consider themselves a gamer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
I don't
assign
know if I want to.
that to somebody else. Like, I don't think there's any utility in that. And I think that having some kind of utility for the term gamer.
Well, I think I'd be laughed at. Like, oh, you're a gamer? Oh, what do you play? Mario and Candy Crush.
See, I don't necessarily know that. I think that if you said, I play Mario, but I'm into like these specific aspects of it, and I play in the extended universe that is the Mario Maker 2 sort of, speed runs. And what I really like to focus on is trying to pass like really difficult levels that other people have a hard time passing. I think that actually sounds more gamer-esque than just saying, oh, I play Mario and like, I think if you actually described what satisfaction you got out of it, that yeah, absolutely. I think that would 100 because I could wax philosophical on any of the games that I play. Absolutely anything at all.
Wayne philosophical. Wax and Wayne.
Oh no, I understand.
So the joke is
no,
funny
you fucking
because-
psyop me right there, and you did the joke is funny thing. Oh,
Let me tell you why the joke is
let
funny.
me tell you why the joke is funny. Wow. Oh yeah, that's not just
I
one
love
of us
you,
in this
baby.
house. I love you too, wife of me.
Sorry.
You psyops me.
You're welcome.
You completely interrupted my flow
Want a
state.
giraffe burger?
I do not want a giraffe burger. I don't need to know how a giraffe tastes. That's Steve's thing. Do you want to lick a giraffe?
want
Are you
Steven
becoming
Seagal.
Steve? Wait, am I married to Steve? Take the mask off. It's a fucking weird episode of Scooby-Doo.
Mission Impossible style.
Seriously, yikes.
I'm John Voight.
Yeah.
It's Tom Cruise.
All right, let's go make an
Yes.
Angelina Jolie. Let's go do it.
That's weird because isn't she older than us?
I think we're the same age.
But now I get it.
I think we're the same age. I think she was born in 1998.
I think she was born.
Say 2003. Go ahead. Say 2003.
She was born in 2000.
The closest without going over. No, I
Well, now I want to know.
I can absolutely go on and on and on about like on this desk right now. I have four
She's
miniatures. I can tell you about the universe that those come from and what I love about the game and the making the models and blah blah blah. I think that we could
I can
literally
tell you nothing about that.
But you could talk about the levels that you enjoy in Mario that are so compelling for you. Yeah. Well, no, you go up to the camera. Sorry, a little sight gag for the universe there. Sorry about that, everybody. So yeah, I think that you could do the same thing with Mario. I don't think that you ever have conversations with other people that are the same kind of conversations that I would have with other people that I identify as gamers.
Yeah, because I don't identify as a gamer.
Sure. But what if you did find a community of people that were like-minded and really loved Mario Maker speedrun stuff?
That would be cool.
I mean, probably exists. It's just that you've never had to go towards those sort of niche, fetishized property style communities in order to have friends. And that was kind of where I had to go. Like, my friends were all people that were Dungeons and Dragons nerds. And I had to go like search them out. There were like, I almost feel like it was like being like low key on the DL back in the 80s when being a nerd was completely socially, you get mocked for playing D&D when I was a kid. Now, now schools have like D&D.
Mocking when I was a kid because I was
I mean,
shallow.
how long did I wait before I told you that I loved little tiny army men and playing Dungeons and Dragons? My 7th level paladin.
Yeah, you waited until we had said "I love you" to each other, and I was fully vested. It's probably like 6 months in.
I dug that hook in deep before I told her that I was a big gigantic closeted nerd.
Yeah, and then the way that you told me was very. It's funny now since you ended up being an alcoholic because it would be a similar way to be like, oh, so just but you were like, so there's something I need to tell you. that I've been hiding from you for the... I am a big nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I do amp guard. And I go to the park and hit my friends with foam sticks.
I get dressed up in loosely period-based garb and engage in a combat sport that is based on the combat stylings of the 8th to 16th centuries.
Yeah. And and not to mention...
I haven't done that in the greater part of a decade and a half.
You were like phasing out of... You admittedly said yourself you were kind of phasing out of that when we met.
Yeah. But if I still enjoyed it, it's still something that I would do to this day.
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy it anymore.
And the few times I went to the park, I do remember being a little like... Because, we've always said... I've always said, and I know this, I sound really shallow for this. If we were in our early 20s. If I had met you a year before we did, I would have friend zoned you. I probably wouldn't have dated you because
timing is everything. I'm going to say it again. Timing is everything, you guys.
Because you're overweight, and I'd only dated... You're overweight in my height, and I'd only dated tall, athletic, basically dudes that look like you now.
I'm not tall, and I am not. I don't have an athletic build.
We do now.
I don't think of this as an athletic build.
Anyway,
this is a buff as hell build. That's what this.
Oh yeah, I was dating like ripped dudes with 6-packs.
I only have the 4-pack.
Although, but you had said before me you had only dated short, busty girls, which is not.
It's true.
The opposite of what I am.
Yeah, you are tall and slender and busty.
But anyway, yeah. So it's it was funny that you sprung that on me, and then I'm not gonna lie, it took me a little bit of time to get used to that idea, and because you had sunk your hooks in so deep, I was in.
Deep,
and so
just,
I was like, okay.
Just I went catfishing, baby.
He's not the stereotype that I'm afraid of.
I went noodling for you.
You went noodle.
I noodled you.
Nooder. You weren't the stereotype that I was afraid of, and so that helped me get past that. Like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. There's levels to all this, and I need to get over my own stereotypes.
Nerd.
And like, oh, okay. And then, of course, you take me to the events, and there are plenty of people that are the stereotype.
Sure, but there were also a lot of people.
But those were the same ones that you were like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are hierarchies amongst any group of people, including amongst nerds, where you'll have people that have like really bad social skills, really good social skills. They just happen to all enjoy specifically niche things. And I think that's probably been true for probably most of all of time. Like, you're going to, like, for every one musician that's a really cool, interesting person, there's probably like a bunch of maladjusted douchebags and some socially awkward people that have a really hard time meeting people's gazes. I mean, I think that you'll find that I tended towards knowing and associating with people that were further along on the nerdier end of the spectrum, because the nature of the games that I played were a step or two beyond what most people would find enjoyable because of how like crunchy all the rule systems is. Like even to this day, you struggle anytime I'm like, hey, instead of a birthday BJ, what I want is for you to play one of my board games with me. And you're like, how long is it going to take to fucking read the instructions?
He hands me a book that's like 2 inches thick, and I'm
honestly,
oh my God.
I'm almost to this.
I want a game that like the instructions are in the back of the lid.
Yeah.
If it comes with an insert, that's too much.
I almost think that you'd rather give the blowjob sometime.
Yeah.
You heard it. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, and then not to mention, then you come at me in with this like.
I certainly do when you give me that.
When you have a 2-inch rule book, and then
I come at you with my 2-incher. Rude.
You're hung like a horse.
Hung like a proportionate horse.
That was brought to my attention recently that,
If a horse is 3,000 pounds and their penis is only, 14 inches long.
Yeah. Proportionally,
I am a moose. That's funny.
But
nerds and
oh yeah,
skills
so when you
and,
come when
oh yeah, gigantic thick rule book. A thick rule. I love a thick rule book.
Ropey.
Ropey rule book.
Thick veiny rule book.
There it is, a veiny one. It's got the Snickers vein on it.
Snickers.
Have you never eaten a Snickers bar and looked at the top of the Snickers bar and thought to yourself,
what?
man, that is one veiny dark sumbitch right there. I'm gonna put that in my mouth.
Every time?
Every time. Can't believe you fetishize Snickers bars.
Anyway. I don't know what to say to that.
Thick rule book.
Yeah, so then you say, oh, okay. And you spend like 20 minutes and we're through 2 pages of it. Mm-hmm. And then when we finally get through the explanation and you set up the board, that 4 hours has gone by. And then you say, oh, and now to actually play the game, it's going to be another 4 to 5 hours. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have the time.
I'm long and I'm strong and I'm bound to get that nerd shit on.
Yeah, I don't have the patience.
I know.
For that.
I know.
I'm very...
You must learn the patience, though.
That's why public health was a good degree for me.
I don't... That'll be the next meme that I do.
What? Because you're long and strong and you got to get your
No. You'll see. Just keep checking the Twitter space. And
what's Twitter?
And Twitter.
Face tweets?
Yeah, face tweets. You know about face tweets.
Face tweets? Are you going to tweet about something? Are you going to... Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So you and I play games differently. We play them for the same reason.
We play them for the same reason. You want to...
We play them differently, though.
Yeah, you want to be able to shut off your brain completely and just enjoy the experience.
My brain is always like, what do we do with this? How do we do that? I'm very process and...
Always very process-oriented.
Yeah, that's the joke of our marriage. I'm also a morning person, and you are not.
Don't talk to me. I'm defrosting in the morning. It takes me a good solid 30 minutes for me to get my own head out of my own very frosty butthole and to be able to treat anybody like a human being. So leave me alone. But what inevitably happens is
I wake up with the oh, the sun is up. Oh, okay. So this is what I got to do today. This is what we're going to plan about this.
Like
and
Joey from
and this
Friends
I got to do this.
with the morning's here. Morning is here.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate it. It's the worst.
I know. And then sometimes you say to me,
woof.
Woof. It has been almost 20 years. Don't you know I need time to defrost? And I will say, yeah, exactly. It's been almost 20 years. You know I'm going to ignore you every time.
Ignore me completely. Yeah, 100%.
Every time.
100%.
You should know how this works. My brain is awake. And I have a plan and I have...
You do have a plan.
But then the flip side is that if... I don't know what would be... I freeze up at night?
No, you just get cranky. You just get
well,
cranky.
Well, I know. I have my defrost is nighttime when I start to...
Well, no, you frost over.
I frost over. There
you go.
I start to frost over.
You've gone all frosty. Man, your boobs look great right now.
Thank you.
Sorry, buddy. You can't see. I know. It's a shame. Maybe she'll stand up or something. That'd be great.
Just keep breathing.
Let's cover that and just show.
Yes,
I love you.
You made me do your favorite face.
It's my favorite face. Anytime I can annoy and amuse her at the same time.
Like that emoji.
Fucking chef's kiss, I think. Chef's kiss, everybody. Chef's kiss. So,
every episode.
We can certainly go to that. It is just about time, I think.
Is it?
Well, we've been jaw-jacking for about an hour and 20 minutes. I think we could probably call it quits. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share today with the viewers, the humans out in the world?
I say I love you, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I love you. And I can't believe how much support you've given me.
Well, I'm awesome.
And very humble. All right, like every episode of
Save
Save versus Poison podcast, we'd like to end this episode by shouting out to the mutual support groups we hope you turn to in your time of need.
Alcohol Anonymous, AA, www.aa.org, 212.
Well, do it or don't do it, all right? Don't worry about the dog, all right?
870-3400. Moderation Management.
What are you doing? You're making this like a 1.5 million years. What is happening here? Moderation Management, www.moderation.org, 212-871-0974.
Who's going to write that down that
Secular AA, aasecular.org.
Seriously.
323-693-1633.
I have my pen ready because I knew the episode was going to end right now. Okay, I'm ready.
You only need to get one of these. If you get any one of these, you're basically set for life.
Or you could just use like most people and go to the interwebs and look up this information yourself and just say, hey, go to AA's website.
Did you quit editing my content? This is my content. You want a podcast? Get your own.
Okay.
Rude.
So you can visit my podcast.
It'll be about Mario and putting up with husbands like me.
Yet to be determined at TBD.
At TBD. I need TBD in my life. All right. Secular AA. www.aasecular.org. 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org. 440-951-5357. And Women for Sobriety.
Women for Sobriety.
Go ahead, do it. This is yours.
215. Do you have a pen and paper by now? 536-8026. Ooh, or should I have said 8026? Do you say the O or 0?
I don't like you anymore. I don't like you. And that was the last time she was on the show. For friends and family of addicts that need a little assistance in a group type environment, there's Al-Anon family groups. That's www.al-anon.alateen.org or 1-888-425-2666.
Or you can go to the internet.
Or you can go to the internet. You can just go.
He's on the NIH website to get all this information.
Which is
so it's all these numbers. You can find them.
What are you doing? What is happening? Like for 68 years, you've been like, I don't want to be on the internet. Don't let me be on the internet. Now you have a platform. You're like, listen, I'm going to talk. This is my space now.
Like my MySpace page.
Yeah, a little bit. All right. So, yes, we're at the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. All of the information can be found there. You're welcome. I love you.
I love you too, baby.
From all of us here at Save versus Poison.
Me too.
My name's Will.
My name is Kate.
And we wish you warm, creamy regards.
Delicious. Get your zinc today.
Good night, everybody. You've just listened to another episode of the Save versus Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save versus Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SVP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.